an elimination game, a noon kickoff for BYU going to take on Texas Tech. And both of those teams need to win. Texas Tech wins, they're 9-1. BYU wins, they are 9-0. And for BYU, they don't have any more wiggle room. This is it. Mm-hmm. They win, they probably punch their ticket to the college football playoff based on what's left for them. They lose, the season of 8-0 means nothing for the postseason.
Yeah, I think elimination for both of them, although there's a chance that those two can meet again in the Big 12 championship game. So this could be meeting one of two, which becomes an interesting conversation. What happens if they split? Let's just say Texas Tech wins this game, and then BYU wins the championship. Now, BYU would obviously get in the championship because of the championship game. Could Texas Tech, with 2 losses, potentially be still an at-large team? I think you're looking at probably 8 or 9 teams really fighting for about 2 spots. It's kind of what it feels like when it comes to this. Now, Texas is going to have to run it. They're going to have to beat. They beat Georgia, they're in. If they beat Georgia, but they also play Texas A&M at the end of the year.
Right.
So there's a chance Texas could be out. Oklahoma, I haven't looked at their schedule, but they have no margin for error at this point. They have to win out. I know they had a pretty tough schedule when we looked a few weeks back. Mm-hmm. Virginia probably has to win out. Louisville probably has to win out. Like, there's a lot of teams that these next 4 weeks are going to determine who is where.
Yeah, playoffs start for a lot of teams this week.
Yeah.
Especially those ones that we just talked about and mentioned when you got to face off. BYU, Texas Tech is the one. You know,
I think if you're 8 down, your playoffs start now. I don't think you have really any margin for error. Because remember, just because you're at 12, the 12th team is reserved for a group of 5 entrant.
Which brings up another conversation. Should it be? If we're changing how we think, if we're changing what college football is, should you just have the big boys in and not reserve a spot for one of the smaller conferences?
Probably yes.
I think that's ultimately the right decision.
I've been for, like, way before we went to 12 teams, I thought the group of 5 should have their seat at the table. If we're going to treat them as Division I, which we are, there's 130 some odd FBS teams, they deserve an opportunity to get in there. Now, if you're the 12 seed and you get your teeth kicked in, oh, well, you had your seat at the table. Boise played a good game last year. They just didn't win. Now, I'm glad they changed it where the top 4 don't get the automatic bye, or the 4 conference champions, the highest seeded conference champions, don't get the auto bye. Now it's just the top 4 teams, which is great. But yeah, if Memphis gets in, fine. If USF gets in, fine. But I do think, home team, instead of having all these candy-ass bowl games that nobody cares about, nobody watches, you get the group of 5 and you put together a 16-team playoff for them. Their highest one gets to go in the big boy. The rest of them play for their version of a national title.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then you still have a lot to play for. You know, a lot of times when seasons come to an end, people are looking for transfer portals, but it gives you a chance to be a champion at something. The truth is, Boise State, Memphis, Tulane, they can have great seasons. They're not going to go to the distance. They're not. You can have a great season, be a college football playoff team. You're not winning multiple rounds against the big boys. I was going to say,
there may be a time where they win a game.
Yeah.
You're going to get an upset, and one of these group of 5 is going to win an opening round game. They're not winning 4 games.
What do you give them the option? To either go into the 12-team playoff or be seated number 1 in your own group of 5?
I think they're going to go to the 12-team playoff. I do.
Oh, yeah.
A certain amount of money.
Exposure, everything that comes along with that. But just imagine, like, locally, Kennesaw State's having a really good year. Coach Mack has turned them around. Imagine if they had a chance to play for something more than the Bahamas Bowl or wherever the hell they're going to go.
Well, Rhett Lashley talked about this conversation. Obviously, it will be now the way it is. You'll have a group of 5 team in, but what about for the later?
Let's take as much out of the human element of picking people as we can. No one else picks people. It's not a pageant. Earn it. In the NFL, I got to be one of the 7 teams in the AFC or the NFC to get in. It's not hard. Do that. At college level, is it 16 teams? I don't know. I mean, in a perfect world, with 4 automatic bids from the 4 major conferences. But we have all these other caveats we got to try to please. So if right now in the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC, everybody knew they're competing for 4 spots, think of the parity that you could have and how great college football could be, because you earn your way in. You earn it. No one has to go politicking for it. No one has to gripe that they're ranked behind or ahead of somebody. Man, finish in the top 4 in your league and you're in, and you get a chance to go play for it.
Fix the math and you make college football better. That is a logical and cogent argument, which does make sense, which then goes to your conversation, John Michaels. And what about everybody else? Because, if you could get, I don't think look, the ACC is not up this year, without a doubt. That being said, if you have the ACC champion and the runner-up plays a pretty good game, I don't think it has to be just because people have to make a decision to give an opinion that nobody else from the ACC goes to the college football playoff except the champ.
College football is the only sport where we use words like trajectory, how are they playing now, game control. Any other sport across the world, it literally comes down to wins and losses. And I know everybody's going to say the schedules aren't equal. Guess what? They're not equal in the NFL. The Patriots right now are fattening up on a last place schedule because they give the last place team from the year previous the last place schedule. The NBA, they are equal. Baseball, they are equal. It's never going to be 100% equal in college football, specifically when you had two conferences that decided we're just going to hoard all the teams. We're going to put the best teams in the SEC and the Big Ten. And yeah, their schedules are going to be tougher. But when you use trajectory and you take out on-field results, and people love to tell us that game 1's loss doesn't count as much as game 11's loss, that's stupidity.
Well,
because guess what? Sorry to cut you off, home team. If the Braves lose 7 in a row to start the year, those 7 losses count just as much as the 7 losses in games 155 through 162.
But that's because there's equality. It's equal. Everybody plays the same schedule, the same interleague games, the same games at home, the same division. Everything is equal. He just fixed the math. You got 4 Power 4. You got Power 4 conferences. If you expand to 16, the top 16 teams, the top 4 of each conference you earn your way in.
Top 4 is going to be.
There's zero chance.
Nobody wants to see that.
There's zero chance the SEC or the Big Ten would ever go for that. Because they're going to say, wait a second.
Well,
the top 4 in the Big 12 would be who right now? It's BYU, Texas Tech,
Cincinnati, and Houston.
Nobody wants to see
Utah
Cincinnati
sitting on the outside.
Who's the top 4 in the ACC right now? It's Virginia, it's Georgia Tech, it's Louisville and Duke or SMU.
Virginia, Georgia Tech, Pitt, and Louisville.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Does anybody want to see those 4?
You want to see 2, I would think.
Maybe.
But
again, the SEC is going to say, wait a second, why are we giving 2 spots to them? The Big Ten is going to say, why are we giving 2 extra spots to them?
But see, now, based on that and the logic of it, I have to stay on my teammate, John Michaels, with Brian Finneran, where you go back to the eye test. You just said nobody wants to see Cincinnati. Nobody wants to see the 4th team in the ACC.
But Cincinnati's not even in the conversation.
But my point is, hypothetically, if you're trying to make everything equal, then you give everybody the same amount. No, you want to see. You can look and see that there are certain teams that are better than others.
You can look and give an opinion of who's better than the other. The only thing that tells you one way or the other is the actual results on the field when you play each other.
Well, there is an opportunity.
It's going to be so hard to make college. You're right. It's unique to its own. It's like nothing else.
Right.
And I don't know that you can ever make it be what NFL, NBA, baseball is, or any other sport for that matter across the world, because the ground zero is different. Like when you're drafted to these teams, and you're supposed to, ideally, baseball's very different, but you're supposed to technically, right, have all the same sort of funds with these owners and stuff. Universities are never going to be able to have the same sort of financial money to play with and do this.
To your point, in and of itself, it's not fair.
It's
not fair that certain fan bases have donors that make more money than other fan bases. Therefore, they can have better facilities, pay for better coaches, pay for better players. It's not fair. So the unfairness of college football inherently is part of the sport.
Yeah, and I'd love to, and the committee would never go for this, but how about if instead of looking at teams with the name attached to it, you look at them with just data. You look at them with just data, because say what you want, there is an inherent bias towards certain teams. It's always going to be that way.
Been.
And some of them have earned it. Georgia deserves a bias. Alabama deserves a bias. There are other teams, Penn State, they don't deserve a bias. The hell have they done to deserve a bias?
Nothing in 40 years.
Right. So that's the point. But when people look and they see a certain name, they see a gold helmet, well, we're going to throw it. They look good because they've beaten a bunch of 2-7 and 1-8 teams. That's awesome. How is that fair?
A big showdown. Texas A&M is ranked 3rd, and Missouri coming in at 22.
My Tigers could really throw a wrench into all this when they get a win this weekend,
They
you guys.
could spoil the party for the Aggies. Here is Paul
We'll have
Feinbaum.
one less ranked SEC team when this weekend's over.
Paul Feinbaum says that Texas A&M is ranked too low.
In many ways, I think they probably have the best resume in the country. The metrics favor them. I get Ohio State. The eye test has been superb for them. And I also understand Indiana has looked good in every game, and they had that Oregon win. But to me, what A&M has had to do is a lot more accomplished than Indiana. A&M has gone to Notre Dame and beaten a really good team there. They've gone on the road and beaten other teams. To me, they should be number 2. Now, okay, sue me if you're Indiana.
Yeah, look, 2, 3, 1. It matters, but it doesn't. At least as of right now, Indiana's going to play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. The loser of that, if Texas A&M runs the table, will fall behind them. There's a chance if Texas A&M runs the table and wins the SEC, they very well may be the 1 seed before it's all said and done.
So they got Missouri this week. They're 4.5-point favorites on the road at Missouri. Is that tighter than you thought it might be?
Yeah,
well, they lost their starting quarterback and their backup. They were playing a freshman at the end of the Vandy game.
Missouri
was.
Yeah.
And
so
I think
with
that's
Matt Zoller again this weekend.
I think they have to. Their starter's still.
Oh boy,
he's still hurt. I mean, so they're playing a freshman.
I was
4.5.
looking at.
I think I'm gonna
on
the road.
6.5.
You should go back and watch what he did. He looked pretty good in the 4th quarter on the road in his first ever.
Here's what I'm not going to do.
Okay.
Go back and watch that game.
Well,
I was actually.
I'll tell you, I watched it in person
You
and
look
I was
good?
impressed.
All
Yeah.
right.
I mean, for that scenario to play out like that, and I'm not saying Vandy's like the end-all be-all of environments, but that's not easy to do for a freshman on the road.
He played well. It's almost like when he transferred to Ole Miss on College Football 26, and I won a national title. I'm not kidding you. Matt Zoller was my quarterback. I didn't know who he was.
He took you to the title.
He walked in the game, and I go, is that the kid that I'm playing on the game with? That's awesome.
Goodness.
Look at Finn. Look, I just ruined his whole morning.
Between the WWE wrestling references and now you and your championships and Madden or whatever the hell you're playing, college football, it's becoming something.
You cheesed like a kid in a candy store yesterday when you took a picture with Pastor Troy's belt.
That is
I
true.
hadn't seen you that happy. I don't know if ever.
Oh, Finn. Oh, come on.
Don't believe the hype.
Oh, I do.
Grab team, post the picture.
He grabbed the 10 pounds of gold, and he was like a kid in a candy store. That's what you need. Your inner Finneran kid to come out every now and then and holding Pastor Troy's belt.